On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks will absolutely go over 50.5 wins next season. We've also got 2 overs and 2 unders from the rest of the NBA. Who's joining them? We'll talk about that on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
We have cracked.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great, Rusty.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Amazing.
Your team every day.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show, making Locked On Mavs your first listen today. But the best way to get help us grow the show is to listen every day on any podcast platform. Take us with you. Leave a 5-star review on any of those platforms. Like the video on YouTube. Comment anything below. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Playoffs wind down. The sports stop sporting like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Joining me today, Slightly Biased, back. Part 2, we're talking about the over-unders in the NBA. We think the Mavs will take the over. I've also got 2 other overs in the NBA that'll join the Mavs and be better than Vegas thinks they're going to be. I've also got 2 absolute unders for sure. So stick around. See what Slightly Biased and I think about the rest of the NBA. We'll talk about that right now. All right, welcome in. We're here with Slightly Biased, of the Great Slightly Biased YouTube channel, talking about the over-unders on FanDuel. They've got the win totals. So the Mavs is 50.5. If you think they're going to win 51 games, you take the over. If you think they're going to win 50 or less games, you take the under on that. And so we're going to go through the entire NBA, and we're going to go through 2 teams we think are guaranteed overs, 2 teams we think are guaranteed unders on these compared to where the Mavs are. And you have a guaranteed over that I want to start with. What's your first guaranteed over? Let's just do it. For the namesake. For your namesake.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to have 3 because, of course, I'm going to go the Dallas Mavericks. But
Wow.
Well, their over-under is 50. They won 50 games last year. We talked about this on the last episode. They had a weird up-and-down season. Obviously, they were so injured. There was a point in time before the trade deadline where they had more starting 5s than any other team in the sport. Yeah, I mean, like, such an up-and-down season. For them to get 50 again, you basically have to be saying you think that it's going to happen again, where Kyrie misses X amount of time and Derek Lively misses X amount of time. And now it's even different because, like you mentioned, and like Reggie mentioned a few nights ago, that this team is much better built now to deal with injuries than they were in years past, with Gafford being here if Lively misses time, or, now you have Clay and Spencer Dinwiddie and Exum and all of these guards if one of the Mavs lead guards misses time. So I struggle to see how they don't get over 50 wins. But at the same time, I feel like every regular season in the Luka era has just been weird. It has just had its strange moments, and they do always peak in the second half of the season. So it's like,
but this is the one, this season right now is the one that we feel the best about this Mavs team going into the season, right?
Oh, easily.
In the Luka era, this is the best team that he's had going into this era. I mean, you just look at this team and look at this depth chart, and this is the best team going in. And so if there's ever going to be a case for the Mavs to have a hot start and to actually start well, it's a team that's coming off disappointing finals, but a finals run nonetheless, with some new blood that'll actually give them a little bit of life. Young guys that are hungry and ready to get back at it. Luka getting some rest. Kyrie getting some rest, whether it was himself taking it or his hand injury, like causing him to actually have to take rest. That to me is the case for the Mavs coming out hot. And if they come out hot, then what if they're a second half team that's better in the second half? Yeah, but like one of the 2 questions that I have for this Mavs team, if they're going to hit the over, is how long does it take for them to gel? Does Kidd experiment early? Do they come out of the gates? Do they come out of the gate swinging? Does he come out of the gate knowing exactly who he's going to play? Because I think that there's 0% he's going to do that. I think that he'll experiment, try stuff the same as he's done every year.
He'll definitely experiment. I mean, here's one of the cases, I guess, against is in the Jason Kidd era, 3 seasons. If you just exclude the season from hell and just say that was a nightmare, you play that season. I said this after the season was over, and I still stand by it. You play that season 100 times. That was the worst scenario that just happened. Like that was the worst outcome of that entire season that you could possibly have. And the Mavericks just got unfortunate to have it. There are 2 years where they made the conference finals, and then the finals this past season, they were a second half team. They kind of stumbled a bit out the gate, but then picked up steam. So I guess they probably look at the regular season now and say, you know what, if it's February when we find our footing, that's fine. Like if we're the 5 seed going into the playoffs, that's all right. We just made the finals as the 5 seed. Like there's a lot of people who think home court advantage doesn't mean anything in the NBA anymore.
My other question about them was, will they be actually motivated to be better in the regular season? Or will they look at the playoffs and be like, let's just get to the playoffs, like you just said. Let's just get to the playoffs and then we'll handle business. We know who we are as a team, right? Will they do that whole posturing thing?
I'm interested in that too, because what will be the determining factor in that, in my opinion, is there like a team? We saw it at the end of the season with the campaigning and stuff. What was it, Braid MVP or what was it, Prava MVP?
Pravi MVP.
That if there's like a internal, hey, we want our guy to win MVP, we think he deserved it last year, you have to win a certain amount of games. Like you have to reach a certain seed. That's like sort of the expectation. That was the one argument against Luka last year, was that, well, they only won 50 games and we're the 5 seed.
I think they'll come in motivated. I think they'll come in motivated to show that we belonged in the finals, because there's all that talk of like, oh, this team doesn't belong there. They're just happy to be there kind of deal. They've gotten all this, this rest at least, because everybody's out of the Olympics now and Luka's had rest and all that. I think they'll come in better, and they know who they are. And I think the guys that they added, there's not like pieces that they added where it fundamentally changes who you are as a team. And I think that's been the thing in the past with the Mavericks that has really taken them a while too. All right, we've got to integrate Grant Williams, who is just this different guy. We've got to figure out how he plays, because he's not Dorian, he's not Reggie. He doesn't like play the exact like way that those guys do. And so I think that's the way. But I'm with you. I think they'll take the over for sure. I didn't make them one of my guaranteed overs because I already hit on that. But one of my guaranteed overs, I'm going out east.
Okay.
I'm going out east. The Orlando Magic. Sing the song.
Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic. 47.5 for them. They won 47 games last year, and they add KCP. They don't really lose anybody. Paolo and Franz are going to be older. They're 22, 23. Each of them. I just don't see a world where they go under on this one. Like, what happens for them to go under?
I guess. I mean, I'm with you. I think that they would go over. They wouldn't be one of my locks, but I don't get how they stayed the same. But I'm thinking maybe they're like, you know what, Franz Wagner's shot is completely and totally broken. Paolo doesn't necessarily take a leap forward, and their defense is still good, but it isn't as good as it is last year because teams have figured it out, or teams know now, like, all right, when we play the Orlando Magic, we know what they're going to do and be about. And maybe they're saying the East got a little bit more competitive with Philly, and the Knicks are better now than they were. The Bucks should be better. The Cavs will still be good. The Pacers. I think they'll hit it, but I wouldn't have them as my lock, just because I wouldn't be surprised if that grouping in the East is just like really close.
They're really missing offensive initiators. They really are, which is why you said if Franz's shot isn't there like it wasn't last year, if Paolo Banchero doesn't take a step forward, like they really rely on those guys to just like carry their own. But that between the Celtics, Derek White and Drew Holiday, and the Magic, KCP and Jalen Suggs, like those are the two best defensive backcourts in the league, right?
That's pretty disgusting. Yeah, those two are definitely. I would give the nod to the Celtics, but Suggs, I think, is the best of that group currently. Maybe Drew or Derek White. I don't know. The Celtics are disgusting.
Or KCP. Just name all of them. All of them. Yeah.
Why not?
Our old friend Jamal Mosley, I think in his Magic, I think they're a guaranteed over to me. I just think that they'll go over 47.5. They're trending in the right direction. They were even trending in the right direction the year before, where like the end of the season they really came on strong. If you're gonna make a case for them to not hit it, like they were pretty healthy last year. Paolo played 80 games. Franz played 72 games. They got 58 games with Jonathan Isaac, which is insane health. But they only got 55 games with Wendell Carter. But they just brought everybody back, and maybe somebody like steps up for them. They've got tons of young guys that could take a leap. I mean, Anthony Black was 20 his rookie year. Even Franz and Paolo could take a leap. Cole Anthony is going to be like what, 24. They've got some guys. Who had Jet Howard? He didn't even barely play for them. He's 20.
That's true. Jet Howard. He was their 11th overall pick last year. So, I mean, I'm with you. I wouldn't put it as one of my locks, but I would take their over if I had to pick one.
Coming up, let's talk about our other locks. What are other locks to go absolutely over? And a couple locks. I've got one in the West to go absolutely under. I just can't imagine they hit the over on this. And we'll talk about that one coming up.
You don't believe you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode is brought to you by the reason why we're talking about over-unders. It's FanDuel. Go check out FanDuel, see what's available for you. You can pick any of these over-unders. If you're with me and think that the Mavericks will absolutely hit their over on 50.5, go and do that. If you think that the Magic will hit their over 47.5, do that. If you think I'm an idiot and you think that the Magic will go under 47.5, take that. Put some money down on it. Go and check out everything they have at FanDuel. They still have Olympic stuff going on all throughout the Olympics. WNBA, when that kicks back off after the Olympic break, they'll have that as well. All kinds of different stuff. There's boosts and bonus all the time, daily throughout the summer. And as the season gets going, the NFL is right around the corner. If you're listening to Locked On Cowboys, Locked On whoever that you're interested in, there's all kinds of NFL stuff too on FanDuel. Go check out FanDuel, FanDuel.com.
I need a recovery beer.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. Appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show. Make your second listen Locked On NBA. I'll be on there today. If you're listening on Thursday, go listen to Locked On NBA with me and Pat the designer. It's always a great time. Our goal is to make the other person laugh so hard they turn red. That's our goal. Easier for him than it is for me. All right. Slightly. We're talking about the over-unders for the win totals for the NBA in the East and West. We're doing the whole NBA. You're taking the over on the Mavs. I'm taking the over on the Magic. Give me another one you're absolutely... Let's go under this time. Let's go one that you're absolutely under on.
The unders are difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I toyed with the idea of the Trailblazers and the Nets, who are both slated to be bottom of the conferences already, but I just struggle to see how they even reach their win totals.
If the Blazers ever realize that no one's going to give 2 first-round picks for Jeremy Grant, maybe they'll hit that under.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a team that this one would be risky, but I struggle to see them. I could just see things going really, really poorly for this team this year. I'm going to go the Pelicans under, which I didn't think about 10 seconds ago until just now.
This was the team I was talking about when I had to be before the break.
Really?
When I
thought you were going to go Clippers. I was like,
this was my absolute under. I just can't imagine a world where they go with the over on here.
You need it because I'm not as confident in it as you.
45.5. They got 70 games from Zion Williamson last year.
Yeah.
When are we? Are we getting that again? They won what? They went 47.
47. So you're thinking they got 2 games worse.
Pelicans won 49 games last year. Okay. They got 70 games of Zion. They have no centers at all. Daniel Tice is their starting center right now. That to me is enough of a reason for just to take the under. And not just that they lost Jonas Valanciunas. Larry Nance is also gone. So you got that. Fan. You've also got this Ingram drama with the trade. Maybe they make a trade. Maybe they don't. We'll see. Apologies for my dog who's just going nuts downstairs again.
He can't believe you picked the Pelicans.
He's a big NOLA guy. Just loves the Cajun. How
can you not?
All that. They lost their last 6 to 9 in their rotation too. Jonas Valanciunas, Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance, Najee Marshall. They lost those guys, and they're replacing them with DeJounte Murray.
All right, so I'm gonna change. I'm gonna throw a new one since we had the same one, and I'm not even that confident in this. But I'll say the reason I'm not that confident is if they do swing a trade for a center, they still have that upside and ceiling that we've continuously talked about forever when it comes to the Pelicans. And there's this, well, they got rid of Ingram. Now Herb Jones and Trey Murphy can just start, and we don't have to worry about who's coming off the bench. Ingram has to start this, and the third. So as it stands currently, I think that they're in for a rough season. You mentioned that Zion played 70 games last year, and if the plan currently is we're going to do a lot of small ball Zion 5, that's a disaster. That's I can't imagine that ending well at all.
They had a good defense last year, making no sense, but
yeah. Well, not only is it, I'm concerned for the injury. He doesn't rebound the basketball. Trust us, Mavericks fans can tell you guys it matters. You might talk yourself into. Well, it doesn't. It does matter, man. It does.
You took us back to not last season, the season before that. With
yes, we're all like, rebounds are no. You need to rebound the basketball. So I'm iffy on them. Can I come in with a hot take
on the Pelicans?
On the under.
On another team?
On another team's under.
No, I still got more thoughts on the Pelicans.
Okay.
DeJounte Murray. So they bring in DeJounte Murray. And you've got DeJounte, CJ, your best players, can they play together? That's the kind of thing that you were getting at. Is your best players can't play together. And that's a really tough thing to overcome. Because do you play DeJounte, CJ McCollum, Ingram, Zion, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. That's 6 players, so one of them has to sit. But like, to me, that's where they're missing me.
In their current form, CJ has to come off the bench, right? Like he has to. In their current form.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And then you could have
like listen, CJ, you've ruined the middle class in the NBA. You're coming off the bench.
That's true. Yeah, you have. It's a little bit rough.
He's the president of the Players Association.
CJ and Grant Williams.
The players president.
Yeah.
CJ.
It's a little bit tough out there. They're the Ronald Reagans of the NBA.
Gary Trent Jr. had to take a minimum for you guys because
killed the middle class.
Listen, Tyus Jones had to go play for Matt Ishbia and the Suns on a minimum because of you guys.
In their defense, I feel like there is always 1 or 2 free agents a year that are like, that guy got a minimum? Like, what happened there? But it did feel like really rough this year.
I feel like there's more this year, but
yeah.
But yeah, I do think he comes off the bench.
In their current form, I mean, he would have to. Once like Ingram gets traded, then maybe things clear up. But you also mentioned if they don't trade Ingram, and then there's the whole. I mean, let's be real. Both parties thought that there would probably be a trade. Is it awkward? Is it weird? You know
who it's the most awkward for? Our Locked On Pelicans host, Jake Madison, who's been talking about an Ingram trade for like 3 months.
I mean, whenever the DeJounte Murray news came out, I said, all right, Ingram for Murray. We all kind of thought that swap made sense. Like, I assumed that's what would happen immediately when I saw that. I was like, yeah, we all kind of assumed that made sense.
Nope.
So,
yeah, no, I'm taking the under on them. I just did Zion's health, the center situation, the Ingram drama, losing their bottom 4 in their rotation, replacing him with DeJounte Murray. I don't think he covers up all those issues.
You want to know mine?
Your absolute under. Give me an absolute under.
Absolute's tough. The Vegas is very good at this. The overs feel more safe than the unders.
They're more fun.
They are more fun. How about the New York Knicks?
Whoa, on an under. What are they? They're 53.5. They're the second highest team in the East.
Second highest team in the East. They won 50 last year. They undoubtedly got better. But
they're the third highest over-under in the entire NBA, according to FanDuel.
In the entire NBA. And I think that's totally fair. I wonder, it's tough with Tom Thibodeau because we know how he operates, but I wonder if they looked at the playoffs last year and were like, dude, this cannot be how we enter the postseason again. Like, no matter what trades you make or whatever, if half your rotation is injured and guys are playing 48 minutes, you're not going to win a lot of playoff series that way. You're just not. So I wonder if they're like, let's scale it back in the regular season a tiny bit. And if they sacrifice some wins here and there, I think they're okay with that. And losing Hartenstein's a big deal.
It's
a big deal. You're going to tell me Julius Randle's going to be center, guys, at some point. The same thing with the Zion stuff at center. The same thing with the Suns, KD at center. This idea that, we'll just do small ball 5. Like, that's what – it doesn't work. It just rarely ever does it actually work out.
Do you know what covers it all up? All the flaws that you just said, all the things that will hold back the Knicks, all the issues that the Knicks have, all the things that we look at the Knicks and go, there's just so many flaws and things. You know what'll cover that all up?
What?
Friendship.
Power of friendship? I didn't think about the power of friendship, to be honest with you.
I think those are issues. I mean, Mitchell Robinson missed a bunch of games, and like their backup center it's Randall or it's Shachua or Jericho Sims right now. So that could be an issue. Just you have to look at these things with the longevity of the regular season. If you lose a guy, if they lose Mitchell Robinson for 2 months, what do they do? I mean, all their wings are great.
And Julius Randle?
Yeah, and Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby are a dynamite wing duo. Like that is awesome. Like that they are going to destroy there for sure. Add Josh Hart into there to just like run around and do things and talk about a team that'll rebound. that team will rebound for sure.
They're built for the playoffs and they're incredibly good. Like I'm not saying that they're not good at all. I'm just thinking if I'm just trying to think about their win total, if they just take a step back in the regular season and they're let's be healthy. OG's a guy who's always injured. Like he is. Mitchell Robinson is always injured.
Yeah.
Julius Randle's been dealing with injury. Let's try to get as many guys as healthy as possible going into the playoffs so we can really. And who knows, 51 wins could be the 2 seed in the East.
I disagree with your main point about the Knicks, though, in that Tom Thibodeau will change his ways.
No, that's the one thing that really is against my theory here.
He also just got the Iron Man of all Iron Men in the NBA, and Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges will play 48 minutes in multiple regular season games this season.
This is an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Absolutely.
But I wanted a fun team because I could have just come on here and say the Bulls, But then, did we want to spend the next 5 minutes talking about the Bulls? Not really.
Listen, Josh Giddey was looking good in the Olympics. You want to talk about?
I actually like that in them. To be honest with you, I like that for them. I've grown
Coming up, we've got a couple more overs. We got a couple more unders. I've got one that is I've got an absolute over that you're not gonna like, and I've got an under that just makes way too much sense. I'll tell you what they are coming up.
You don't believe you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Everyone has things in your life that you just sit and think about. In those moments where, all of us, we have these things where you got to play music or you got to play a podcast or a TV show or something to just like quiet your brain. What's the thing? What's the thing that you're quieting your brain for? If you have a thing like that and you have some anxiety around it, you have something that you need to talk about, try therapy. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. I've used it before. I enjoyed my time using BetterHelp because it was entirely online. It was convenient, flexible, suited to my schedule. I could schedule whenever I want. It didn't have to be the exact same time every week too. That's sort of what I don't like about some therapist offices. You have to go there the same time. I can change it around and move it if I have different things going on in my life, or I can skip a week and come back. And all you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Again, never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA today. Get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. BetterHelp.com. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show 5 days a week all through the offseason. Tomorrow, the great Tim Cato of The Athletic, coming on to talk about the Mavs Fan Survey that dropped the other day on The Athletic. So come back and listen
about the Mavs Twitter tournament.
Come listen to Tim Cato. Did he do well or did he not do well? Did he crush?
Oh, we haven't played yet, but he's on my team.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice. All right, Slightly. We're talking about over-unders in the NBA. I've got an over you're not going to like. One of my overs was the Magic. One of yours was the Mavericks. An over that you're not going to like. How do the Lakers not get over 43.5 wins?
Well, you're asking me?
Just, it was semi-rhetorically, but you could answer it since you're here.
So I thought about the Lakers as one of my overs because I think that they'll reach it, but I see the hesitancy and I can see where it goes wrong. JJ Redick, we don't know. JJ Redick could be a disaster. Like let's roadmap away. Let's think about and storyboard a start to the season where the Lakers are maybe 5-9, and then they lose a heartbreaking game to go 5-10. It's going to be
they go 5-10.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden,
disaster.
Hitting all podcast feeds, YouTube subscription tabs, everything. A mind the game episode where LeBron and JJ Redick talk about it.
No. That's not how LeBron would operate. It would be a mind of the game episode, just LeBron.
Hey, it's LeBron here going solo on Mind the Game. We're doing a mailbag because that's what I see a lot of people do.
He has Jason Gallagher hostage producing the podcast.
We see a reflection in LeBron's sunglasses of Jason Gallagher with a sign that says, like, please send help. Like, JJ doesn't know I'm here.
Yeah. I could see it.
I know that they didn't do anything. I know it's been like this whole thing where they're the only team that didn't sign a free agent. I know that there are reports coming out of like, the Lakers are really hopeful that Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt will be healthy this season, which sounds an awful lot like bringing Tim Hardaway back from injury is a lot like adding a free agent. Like that, it feels that coded. Like it feels like that. Yep. But I do think that this team also still is LeBron and Anthony Davis. They've got this great experience during the Olympics where they seem like two of the best players on the team. Mm-hmm. You've got, the players around them. Rui Hachimura having a decent time in the Olympics. I just don't see how they don't hit over 43. I do think they do get a new coach bump because I think that JJ Redick will be out to prove himself.
Yeah. And JJ Redick, the inverse of what I said could be true, where JJ Redick is actually a really, really good coach and they hit the ground running. But I think if I agree with you that it'll be the over because I did this thing on stream where it was a player ranking quiz. And by the end of it, I had LeBron and AD in my top 8 still. So it's like, how can a team have 2 top 8 players and you're telling me that they're not going to win more than 43 games? Like that's insane. But LeBron played 71 games last year. That's the most he's played.
It's fair.
Since 2020, 2018. That's the most games he's played since 2018. Anthony Davis, the most games of his career. So you're looking. I'm assuming you're thinking, are you gonna get that much injury luck again from those two? Because we know who AD is. LeBron's gonna turn 40 next season, which is insane. But he'll be turning 40.
To me.
That's true. Age
is a number for him and no one else.
Okay, all right. There you go. Let me have to preface that.
For him and no one else. Yeah,
I agree that they'll go over, but I wouldn't lock it.
43.5 just seemed like low for a team that won 47. Now they won 43 the year before, so maybe they're thinking they'll regress back to then. But yeah, I can see it.
Can I do my next over 2-for-1 package to piss off the most Mavs fans imaginable?
No, dude. Slightly masochistic is what we're about to.
How do the Celtics not win 60 games again?
Yeah, I had this one down too.
I don't get how they don't win 60 games. And the Thunder, honestly, I don't see how they are worse than last year.
The Thunder one seems very obvious to me. Theirs is 56.5. They won 57 last year. They did have a lot of injury luck. Like one of the reasons why we were pushing Luka for MVP is that Shea played with this one lineup all season and played a ton of minutes with those guys. And Luka played with a million different lineups, and his highest lineup didn't even play 200 minutes last year.
Yeah,
and I saw that as a positive for Luka. But yeah, but you change up what they do. I think they lose Giddey, but they bring in Caruso and Hartenstein. Like they're better than last year. And Jalen Williams will be another year older. Chet will be another year older. Same with SGA, even though he's older than Luka. People forget that. But yeah, I'm with you on them. The Celtics one, they're 58.5. Yeah, how do they not win 60 games? What's the path for them?
You would have Kristaps is not going to be ready to start the season, and he'll be out a few months. So
they won the finals without him, essentially. So
true. So I'm guessing you're thinking it's a championship hangover, and they're also like, we did it last year. We got 64 wins.
Yeah, they do that.
Clinched the 1 seed by February. Like we know who we are. Get to the playoffs. Whatever. However many regular season games we win. But they're still going to be the best team in the league, like comfortably.
I think the one case is you mentioned Porzingis. He played 57 games last year, which is not nothing, which is,
Yeah.
And he's going to miss time to begin the season. I think he's going to miss the first couple of months probably. Mm-hmm. Horford is 37, going to be 38. If Horford is not good anymore or is not, and then Porzingis is out, it's Xavier Tillman. It's Luke Cornett, the Cornett contest. Those are your centers.
And then you also have to factor in, let's just say Horford has half of a quarter tank left.
Yeah, right.
Do you want to burn all of that in the first couple months for KP, or they'll be comfortable sacrificing games early on if it's like, we want Horford, whatever's left of Horford, we want it in March and April.
And we're talking about them winning 55 games or 60 games, right? We're talking about them like missing the playoffs, but those margins, I think, affect them a lot. I think that center thing. Yeah, the Celtics one, that's an interesting one for sure.
A 6-win decrease. That's what they're saying basically.
To go under.
That's a lot. That's when you look at it that way, that's a lot. 6 wins.
Yeah.
Just don't see it. I think they'll clear 60 again. Because it's not like the East is like, there's 6 new teams in the East that are hard now. Like you're still gonna have the Pistons will still be terrible. The Wizards will be horrible. The Nets will be god awful. The Bulls will probably be bad.
My last under is a team that you just mentioned.
Oh.
The Wizards at 21.5. Every year there's a team that goes way under. Wizards last year won 15 games. Did the Wizards get 7 wins better with a draft class that is going to incentivize tanking?
True. Like, this will be a big tank here.
This is their time. Alex Sarr in Summer League did not look like a player that said, "Hey, you don't need to tank anymore. I've got this." Right? Like he is not pulling off the Noah Lyles like, "America, I told y'all, I got this." He's not pulling that off. I don't think so. I think there's one more like awful tank year. Plus, they just lost Tyus Jones, which is like not nothing for them to lose a point guard like that.
No, yeah. The next 2 draft classes are strong up top, so you're going to see some big tanking the next couple of years.
And I'm not saying they do 15 again, but I'm also not saying that they do 23, 24, 25 wins.
Well, it's going to be interesting because it's going to get down the stretch, and I'm just looking like the Nets will be horrendous. I I thought about them going under. 19.5 is so low already that I don't know if in good faith I can go under. But I actually struggle to see how they get 20 wins.
It's their one job to not be good next year. Like, listen to Locked On Nets, Adam and Doug. They know the one job they have next year is to not be good.
They made a huge draft pick trade, to get their picks back just so they could be bad this year. Like, they will pull out all the stops. It will be disgusting. The Blazers will be bad. And the Blazers got better, actually, the roster, but the West is so strong that just by nature of them playing so many Western Conference teams, their record's going to be horrendous. So
I'm going to go back to the Wizards. So they lose Tyus Jones. They also are going to be without Daniel Gafford, who played 45 games for them last season.
True.
They're replacing with Jonas Valanciunas, I guess, who they will trade on December 15th.
Yeah, he will not be finishing the season.
They also lose Denny Avdia, who played 75 games for them last year. And I just don't see how they get. They're going to be the second worst team in the league next year.
They brought in Malcolm Brogdon in that trade. Can we sit here and say he'll finish the season with the Wizards? Probably not. Kuzma even probably gets traded. They're going to be terrible. Can I throw one more?
Yeah, give me
one more. Over. I don't want to spend time on it.
Say the thing.
One more thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I got to show him some love. If you follow me at all, you know I always bang the drum on this team. And
the Kings under?
Out. No. It is never. This is a deep one. This is a deep cut. It never works out, but this is the year. The Charlotte Hornets over.
No.
The Charlotte Hornets over.
29.5.
They're pushing 40, and they're making the play-in.
They won 21 games last year.
Don't care. LaMelo played 6. No, I don't know if it was 6, but it was not a lot. Mark Williams back. Another year, Brandon Miller.
Mark Williams is huge.
They're going to be nice, man.
They've got Mark Williams. They've got Mark Williams. They'll have Grant Williams. They'll have Josh Green, who got benched for Australia.
It's not.
JT Thor, with all his South Sudan experience, JT Thor actually did some stuff for them.
Olympic bump.
Brandon Miller. They bring back Miles Bridges. Yeah, LaMelo. Who else? Seth Curry. What other former Mavs do they have? So the Mavs used to be the dumping ground for the Knicks players, and now the Hornets are the dumping ground for the Mavs players. Like,
Bertans was on there last year. He's gone now, but he was another one.
It's all cycling through.
Who's the next one, I wonder?
Yeah, the Hornets. I don't know.
I'm banging the drum, baby. Let's go.
You can bang it.
I'll bang away.
There you go. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, joining the show. Tomorrow, like I said, we'll be back with Tim Cato to talk about the Mavs fan survey. Guys, thanks for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.